We're off. Greetings, Screaming Howards members. Welcome to the 2013 official Screaming Howards Commissioner Debate. We have two very impressive candidates with us today. For the first time in many years, no incumbent. So we have candidate Mason Holt to your... What is he, on the right? No, you're on the left. So on your left, candidate Mason Holt, and on your right, candidate Walter Lovering. To begin this evening's festivities, we will start with a 30-second opening statement from candidate Holt.
Greetings, Howard's members. This is your former commissioner, Mason Holt. It is great to address all of these concerns that we have tonight regarding the league. I am eager to put my platform out there, and I'm really hoping that you guys vote America, vote Mason. Thank you.
Thank you, Mason. Candidate Lovering.
Greetings, Screaming Howards. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to run to be your commissioner. I want to apologize yet again for the controversy I caused in the last election. I didn't take it as seriously as I should have, but I guarantee you that I am far more serious, and I'm ready to take this job and take this league to the next level.
All right. To begin our debate, I will ask a question, and candidate Lovering will answer first. He will have 30 seconds to complete his answer. Everything good? All right. First question. Candidate Lovering, what is your position on trading draft picks? We talked about this earlier in the season on the league board. I think the idea is that if you want to sweeten up a trade, you can add in a draft pick from the coming year's draft. The only caveat is the team that you're trading with also has to throw a draft pick in as well to compensate, because we need each team to have an even number of draft picks in the draft. However, you could trade a better draft pick for a worse draft pick, etc., etc. What is your position on this proposed change to league rules?
Thank you for asking that question. That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. I do agree to being able to trade draft picks. I just think that the members need to make sure they know what they're doing. They need to, the commissioner, whoever that may be, Mason or I, needs to go back and look at the draft recap and make sure they traded the right picks and make sure everything went down smoothly. I think if we can do that, we can be able to trade draft picks.
Okay. Time up. Candidate Holt, your answer to the same question.
Thank you, Ian. I think that this is a very important question, and I think that this is one. I think this is an instance where we see an idea on paper, and it seems like it might be a good idea. It seems very flashy, but one thing that I really, really do believe, this is something I believe firmly about the Howards. Continuity and the lack of change is something that is very important. I don't think it's a good idea. It'll be a little too confusing in the end.
Okay. 30-second rebuttal period from Walter. In your rebuttal period, I would like you to address, if this is a good idea, how exactly would you have this idea come to fruition? Would you make a league vote? What would you do? Would you institute it upon your election? How would you do it?
I would definitely take a league vote. I mean, at the end of the day, I want what the majority of the league wants. So I would make sure that that's a decision that everybody wants to do. And, that's pretty much it. I just want to make sure the league is okay with it. And I would not force this upon the league. Definitely not.
Candidate Holt?
I would just like to take a second to clarify what I think would be confusing about this. The fact that both sides would have to come in, it would be a future thing, there would have to be a lot of paperwork to go along with it. I think that it's a good idea in theory, but the execution of the task, I think, would be much more difficult and not really worth the hassle, if you will.
All right, thank you very much. Second question goes to you, Candidate Holt. What do you think about, and this, by the way, this question came from Jeremy Bailey, one of our beloved members. Thank you, Jeremy, for this question.
Town hall member.
Town hall member. What do you think about writing up an official document compiling all of the Screaming Howards rules, traditions, guidelines, etc., or, as I've said, a constitution of sorts? What do you think of this idea?
I think that this is an excellent idea, Ian, and Jeremy. That this is a very, very good question. I am wholeheartedly behind this. I think a lot of times there is some gray area, and I know in my past term, sometimes I just took the authority position and did things. I do think that having an official document, which I am willing to compile, I think that would provide a lot of clarity to the league.
All right. Thank you, Candidate Holt. Same question to you, Candidate Lovering.
I would have to agree with my opponent on this one. I mean, this just making an official document just creates just gets rid of all the possible confusion that there might be, like of what the rules exactly are. And whenever you're confused or anything, you can just look at this document and see everything there. And so I agree as well.
Candidate Holt, in your rebuttal period, I would like you to address perhaps how would you have this document. Obviously, it wouldn't be on ESPN because the league or ESPN from year to year can erase some of our past posts and whatnot. So would you do this in a Google document? How exactly would you keep tabs on this document and make sure that all members had access to it at all times?
Paper form. Google Doc is a good idea. I think that could also be done in addition to that. We need to get it in writing, though. We need to make something that can't be easily changed, and I think that I would just put it in paper form.
Candidate Lovering, you have a 30-second rebuttal period as well.
Yeah, I mean that could be a good idea. I'm not against the paper form. I think there also needs to be a certain website that we put this on. Maybe we could create our own website, just make a link that we can always go to. But we need to make sure that we always have it. Just going back to what he said, because like you said, the ESPN erased some of our old stuff, so we need to always have this as a document, and all the league changes we made, we can update it year by year.
Third question, we will start with Candidate Lovering. This is from the greatest Screaming Howard member of all time, Mr. Alan Ronald. Thanks, Al, for your input. Al's question to Walter. What is your position on reducing a Screaming Howard's team's bench size? Al suggested from 7 spots to 5 spots. I'm going to broaden the question and ask, what do you think about changing the number of bench spots, period, to you?
I mean, changing the number of bench spots, I don't, to be honest, I don't think it's a necessary move. I mean, I don't think that's a change that we need to make. I mean, the amount of bench spots we have now is very it's flexible for the teams. It lets them be able to store more players. So I don't think we need to do that.
Candidate Holt, Al's question to you.
It's a great question. I really I don't have a strong position on this one. I think I would put it to a vote. I do see positives and I see negatives. It would open up what's on the waiver wire a bit, and I know personally for my team, I have about 2 spots that are just kind of free that I drop and add all the time. So I don't think that it would be a huge problem. But I would just put it to a vote to the league.
All right. Candidate Lovering, if you would like a 30-second rebuttal period, you may have it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with what Mason said. I mean, we're gonna put. I would like to put it up to the league and see what the league thinks. I don't think it's a necessary. My main point was I don't think it's a necessary move that we need to make.
Candidate Holt.
I think he's very wise in that. Sometimes there isn't a need for change. And this is something I would put to a vote. I just think if the league wants it, then I'm fine with it. But I don't have a strong position.
All right. This next question and the next 5 questions will be from our clearly most involved Screaming Howard's member, Mr. Wayne Smith. Thanks, Wayne, for all your input. I'm going to put these candidates to the task with some of the suggestions that you've brought up on the league board. This first question goes to Mason. Wayne says, I want there to be a 2-year cap on keepers, starting with this year. For example, he says, if I keep Ray Rice for next year, I can only keep him for 1 additional year before he is placed back into the common pool. So, Candidate Holt, what's your position on a 2-year cap on keepers?
I'm against the 2-year cap. I think that the current way that we have it is a nice little. It has elements to that of the Dynasty League that make that great. For instance, a current thing that Al's going through right now, he drafted RG3 and he has Brady. I think that's a great decision that has to be made. If we institute this right here, the Brady thing would be easy. But if he keeps someone like an RG3, he's really rewarded for the risk that he took in taking him. He can have him for
Your
years
time is
to
up.
come.
Thank you very much. Candidate Lovering, please address Wayne's 2-year cap.
Well, first of all, I want to applaud Wayne for coming up with this question. I don't think I could have thought of this myself. It is a, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not really for it or against it. I mean, I like the keeper situation we have now, but I feel that, I mean, it does give some teams an advantage to keep their dominant player every year. So maybe if we switch things up, to not always keep the same player every year, maybe that would be good for the league. But I'd put that up to a league vote.
Your time's up. Candidate Holt, do you have a rebuttal that you would like?
My rebuttal, basically, first of all, I would like to just reinforce my the motto, Vote America, Vote Mason. And the rebuttal, basically, I like the way that it is right now. I'm not really running on a platform that is promoting a lot of change. I think that if it's not broke, then do we really need to fix this?
Candidate Lovering, 30 seconds.
Yes, I also am not a, I'm not a big believer in that we need to change that much. I really like the way things are going right now. I mean, I agree in making minor changes from time to time, but, you know, the league is improving year to year. I think we've seen that.
All right. This next question from Wayne will be put to Walter first. Wayne does not like that we, this year, observed ESPN's trading deadline. He thinks we should be able to trade as far into the season as we want. Basically, what he's advocating is for the Screaming Howards to set their own trading deadline or to not even have one if we so choose. Your position?
I think the Screaming Howards, I think we should set our own trade deadline if possible. I do believe in a trade deadline. I think it's fair for the whole league. I don't think we should be trading into playoff time. It's almost playoff time now. I think there needs to be a period where we trade and there needs to be a deadline, but I believe that we can set our own deadline, and that's a change that we could make, and that'll be up to a league vote as well.
Candidate Lovering, Wayne's question to you.
I'm
Candidate Holt. My apologies. Candidate Holt, your question.
Yeah, Vote America, Vote Mason. I like where the trade deadline is right now. I think that at this time of the year, we still have a lot of players that are in the hunt. I think if we push it back, or if we don't observe it, I think that we would get a lot more trades where it's just dump trades for next year. Last year we had a trade that was declined, if you remember, and it was because Cody was positioning himself for the next year. It didn't go over with the league. I think that more of that would happen.
Candidate Holt, your time is up.
Deadline back.
30-second rebuttal to Candidate Lovering.
You know, he made a great point there. I mean, like, when people know that their playoff chances are out the window, you know, they just give their whole team away for just a keeper that they want. I don't think that's a good thing. So that's why we need a trade deadline. Maybe we could push our trade deadline back a little bit from what it was this year, but I mean, I mostly agree with what he said.
Candidate Holt, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just like to add, I like where the trade deadline is right now because I think that at this point in the season, everyone's kind of still a player. If we push it back, I just don't think it's necessary. I think we'll get more bad trade proposals that may cause some intervention, and the league does not like that.
Okay. This third question from Wayne will go to Mason first, and it's a bit of a lengthy one, so I'm going to read Wayne's explanation and then expound on it if I feel like I need to do so. Wayne says, I would like to install a waiver wire pickup based on money instead of the current process. I would like for each member to be given $200 at the beginning of the season, and then we bid each week for the players we want. The highest bidder gets the player. If you spend too much on any given player, you may be hosed for the rest of the season. More strategy must be involved this way. And he says this is commonly referred to as the free agency acquisition budget. Candidate Holt, what is your position on Wayne's proposal for this free agency acquisition budget in the Howards going forward?
My position on this proposal is a negative one. I'm not for this. I just think that you know, these fancy ideas, I think they're just more complicating in the end than what it needs to be. I think that the way the waiver wire works right now, I think it rewards the teams that rewards not the right word, but I think that it helps the teams that need to be helped, and I don't like this idea.
Candidate Lovering, this question to you.
I'm gonna have to agree wholeheartedly with Mason on this one. I like the way. I mean, as frustrating as waivers is, you know, we all get frustrated by waivers. I think the system we have right now is the most fair to the league. I mean, the teams that have the lowest records get the highest waiver order. So I like the way we have it now. I think this is just another fancy idea that's just not going to help our league move in the right direction.
All right, you guys are agreeing a lot, so a rebuttal may not be necessary, but Candidate Holt, it's yours if you want it.
I don't really need a rebuttal period. I just to elaborate on this a little bit though. I think that it could just get a little too confusing on who has how much money. I think that a lot of people would not be for it if they spent all that money on that. And there's more strategy, but I just don't like it. Not really much more to say about it.
Candidate Levering, your time.
I was talking with you, Commissioner Loving, about this the other day. You said that we could test some of these ideas out in maybe like another league and see if we like them and take it from there. But as of now, I like where we stand on our waiver system.
All right. Wayne's next question is kind of a joint question. I've added a little bit onto it, and it will go to Candidate Lovering first. Wayne says, I want to devalue QBs by reducing their touchdown points to 4 instead of 6. For those of you who don't know, that is the ESPN standard point total for quarterback touchdowns, 4 points. This is a passing league and the 6-point touchdown, Wayne continues in saying, this is a passing league and the 6-point touchdown for the quarterback provides a sizable advantage for the position in relation to other positions. I'm going to tack on to the end of this question because it is a rule change, a scoring rule change. So what do you think of Wayne's idea, Walter? And also, are there any other scoring changes you'd like to see in this league? I'm going to give a minute for this question because this could prove to be fairly lengthy. Candidate Lever.
Okay, I'll start with Wayne's idea. I see where Wayne's coming from. I think that what he's trying to say is, quarterbacks have an advantage over every other position, and that's kind of the way it is in the NFL these days. I think it's become a passing league. It's the quarterback's game, and I think this is the way the Screaming Howard has been for ever since we started this league. Quarterbacks have been dominant, and so we see. Most people keep their quarterbacks every year, so I think that we need to. I mean, as far as reducing the touchdown to 4 instead of 6, I think I would rather keep the 6 points a touchdown because it's the way we've done it. This is a quarterback league. As far as any league changes that I would want to do, I talked to you about this the other day, Commissioner. I would like to. I don't know if ESPN would allow this, but I would like quarterbacks to get more minus points.
Candidate Levering, your time is up. Your time is up. Well, you can expound on your rebuttal period. Candidate Holt, this question to you.
This is very awkward because Candidate Lovering, he took the words right out of my mouth. Really, I think that the way we have it now is reflective of how the NFL has really evolved. The NFL is a passing league, and I think that the Screaming Howards really reflect that. I am not for reducing the amount of points that are worth that go for a passing touchdown. It may be an appeal to tradition, but I think that it's a good tradition, and I think we should keep this 6 points per TD. Vote America. Vote Mason.
Any other scoring changes?
Scoring changes, yes. I would like to put this to a vote, but I think that we should make it minus 3 points if a kicker misses a field goal. I think that kickers, I think they're pretty. They can be a big thing in the NFL, but I think they're minor compared to running backs. I think that we reward them too much for too little. So I think making it a higher risk position would be a benefit to the league.
Okay, thank you, Candidate Holt. Candidate Levering, you were saying something when I cut you off last time. Please continue.
Oh yes, I'm not sure if ESPN will allow this change, but I think that quarterbacks should be penalized more for throwing a pick 6 rather than just a regular interception. Whether it's minus 3 or it's minus 4, this would definitely be up to a vote. I don't think that quarterbacks get. As we said, they scored very easily in this league, so I mean we shouldn't reward them for. We should deduct them for throwing pick 6s. I mean they're much worse than just regular interceptions.
Candidate Holt, anything you'd like to
add? This was actually an idea that I had as well. I think that we should make it minus 6 if it's a pick 6. The other team scored an interception off them. Why not totally take it to the next level and make it minus 6? A lot of times I feel like, a team gets down and they get a lot of garbage time, and you look up and they've scored 10 points, and it's like that was not a 10-point outing. He threw 2 pick sixes, and it was a horrible day. I think we should do that. Also, I'm basically running on the -3. That's my biggest change. That's my platform right there. -3 per kick.
All right, guys. I'm going to tack on something to the end of this question. Just throw it out there. Really, no order. Anybody can address this. But what do you think about changing some of the defensive scoring system in making defenses not get penalized by pick sixes because they were not on the field? Defensive unit and special teams was not on the field to allow those points. I don't know. That's just something I thought of the other day. What do you guys think about that?
Would you like to take this first, or?
Oh, you go first.
Okay. If this could be instituted, which I'm not even sure, it'd be very difficult to track this. I don't like it though. I like the way that we have it. If the defense is, sometimes these penalties happen and it's just part of the game. I like how variable the defenses can be right now. I feel like they kind of matter. That's why I want to make the kicker position a little bit more like that. If you actually do need to have a good defense basically to get any consistent production out of that. And so yeah, I like the defenses the way that it is right now. I don't think that we should prop up defensive scoring. I like it as it is, and yeah, that's basically all I got.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I think defenses are a very underrated position in fantasy. They get undervalued. But I do like it the way we have it now. I don't think this is a necessary move. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
All right, guys. Before I add Wayne's last question, which I think is a good wrap-up for the entire debate, I'm going to kind of throw another thing that I was thinking about the other day. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to let Walter have it first, and we'll kind of do the system we've had going per question up to this point. So a lot of these score changes that we talked about, including the charting pick sixes and stuff like that. You're not able to change that in ESPN. Actually, this is including the trade deadline as well. ESPN doesn't really give you a lot of options when changing your trade deadline. It makes it every Wednesday from like this week on. But what would you guys think about if some of these rule changes got voted in by the league and people embraced these? What would you think about moving the Howards from ESPN to another site or another server where we can have a lot more control over our scoring and over our custom settings? I believe I said Walter was going first.
Yeah, this is an interesting idea. I think the only way we were to do this, the only way I think we can do this is to make sure that this other site is reliable. I think we need to have maybe some of our members test out another league, see if this site is what we think is reliable, see if it really works out. But right now we're so comfortable with ESPN, we know how to operate it, and we need to make sure this move is what everybody wants, and it's a reliable site because ESPN, we're all familiar with it.
Thank you. Candidate Holt.
I am totally against moving to a new website. I think that it's another unnecessary change. I'm the conservative. I'm the conservative candidate here, and I think that I'm basically against most changes. I think we have a good thing right now. The one thing that I think I would definitely bring to the league as the commissioner is more humorous anecdotes. We need that. Great commissioner posts on the front page, video, just humorous anecdotes, good recaps of the week. That's what I bring.
Thanks, Candidate Holt. Anything to add? Candidate Lovering.
I listened to what he said. I'm also gonna, do my best to always, be updating the league, put new stuff up there. Maybe implement some highlights of the games. Talk about the games, the actual NFL games, as long as the fantasy scores in more depth. I may not be as funny as Mason, but I'll do my best.
Anything to add, Candidate Holt?
Not much. The one thing that I do want you to remember from this debate, if you have made it this far, vote America. Vote Mason.
Thank you, Candidate Holt. One last question to this debate before we do closing statements. This also came from Wayne, and he said to round out his slew of questions, he says he wants to hear one original idea that would make the league more unique and interesting. This may be putting you guys on the spot, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. Candidate Holt, you're up first.
This is putting me on the spot. My unique change to the scoring was really the kickers -3 on a miss. That's my biggest thing this year. Last year I was promoting the tight end in the flex spot. ESPN, when they agreed with me on that, that's foresight from a commissioner candidate. They went ahead and they put that into their standard rulings. I think that this kicker thing is a great idea, and that's my unique idea, really. Thank you.
Candidate Lovering.
We talked about the pick six change earlier. I mean, that's one thing. And I just talked about this during the last segment. I want to show like some of the, if possible, I want to show some of the highlights to the games, you know, and in my league messages, and to break it down more instead of just, you know, not that it was wrong or anything, but you know, Ian's messages, we just, you know, stared at his face the whole time. So change that up a little bit.
Candidate Holt, a rebuttal?
I think he definitely burned the current commissioner with that last statement. And,
No disrespect there.
Yeah, this is
little bit
coming out of left
disrespect.
field. Maybe we could do some sort of like the last place guy at the end of the year. Maybe he has to go treat everyone to a meal. Maybe a big Howard's reunion, possibly during the summer. I don't know. It's just a thought. We could, you know, it wouldn't have to be an official thing, but I think that could add some fun to the league.
May I add one more thing?
Candidate Holt's time is actually not up.
He can go ahead and add that. That's fine.
All right, Candidate Lovering.
We talked. I don't know. Those of you who know that we talked about this, but we thought Mason posted some on the league message board a couple weeks ago saying, you know, if David had the worst record ever this year, he's only got one win so far. We should change the Snowman Award to be, you know, the D. Lisa Award or something like that. I don't agree with that. I think the Cashville Snowman.
What about the
will
Chad
always-
Award?
Maybe. I mean, Chad's only got one win too. So you know, I don't think we should, regardless if they're Chad and David's records this year, I don't think we should change the name. The Cashville Snowmen will always be the true
Time's up.
stink team.
The true stink team.
I'm just gonna have it.
All right, thank you so much, both candidates, for your very thoughtful and measured answers to all the questions I've thrown at you in the past 15 to 20 minutes. I would like to hear your closing statements now, and we're going to start with Candidate Lovering. Bring it home.
You know, like I said earlier, this is a pleasure for me to do this. You know, it's been just an honor to be in this league. You know, this is our 6th year, and you know, I've seen this league grow. I was there when we first created this league with Ian Mason and I, and you know, I've really seen some great things go on, and I think we can continue to improve, and I feel like I can help this league go in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Candidate Lovering. Candidate Holt, your closing.
Well, before I close, I would just like to thank you, moderator. Yeah, I think that you've done an excellent job of keeping order here, and I would also like to thank you, Howard's members. If you have taken the time to watch all of this video, then that takes dedication too. I just want to say Happy Thanksgiving. I don't really have much more to say. All of my changes or lack thereof have been said, and I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys in December, and I'm gonna definitely lose in the championship again this year, so that's gonna be great. Just remember, vote America, vote Mason. Thank you.
Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching.